Good morning, children. Welcome back to chemistry class. Now we are in lesson 6, metals and non-metals. Video session is 14. Recapitulation. What we studied in the previous class. Metals, general properties of metals. The properties are luster, that is appearance, how the metals are looking. Tensile strength, it is nothing but of oddness of the solid metals. Sonorous, sonorous means when the metals hit the other metal surface or other surfaces, it can make a sound. Ductile. Ductile means when we melt and make a new structure of a metal. Malleable. Malleable means we can make metals into a thin sheets, wires like that. Next, good conductors of heat and electricity. All the metals can conduct heat and electricity easily. So these are the general properties of metals we discussed in the last video. Now we are going to discuss about the non-metals, how these non-metals are differ from the metals. Till now we have 24 non-metals. So we have totally 24 non-metals. In that 12 non-metals are solids. Example, carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, iodine and etc. Actually we have a 12 solids. Only one is a liquid non-metal, it is bromine. Then 11 are gases. Examples, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, helium, neon, argon and etc. So totally we have a 24 non-metals, 12 are solids, 1 is a liquid and then 11 are gases. Now we can discuss briefly about the general properties of non-metals. Solid non-metals are non-lustrous. Lustrous means while the metals are looking shiny, so non-metals they won't looks like a shiny. Example for this, carbon, phosphorus and sulfur. We can call these non-metals are dull looking solids. So we have a solid, liquids and gases. All the three forms we have a non-metals, but metals only a solid. We have a one liquid metal, that is mercury. So we can call solid non-metals dull looking non-metals. In this also we have some exceptions. Here graphite and iodine are lustrous solids. We already know lustrous means shiny. This is a property of a metal, but these two non-metals, graphite and iodine, even though if it is a non-metal, but it is looking very shiny in appearance. Our second property is solid non-metals are not hard and have low tensile strength. So solid non-metals where they are not very hard. So it is also a property of metal. It has a high tensile strength, that is very hard in nature. But non-metals, these are low tensile strength. Example for this, phosphorus, sulfur. They are soft solids. And then here also we have some exceptions. Diamond even though if it is a non-metal, but it is very hardest solid. In a proverb also we know diamonds cut diamonds. So very hard in nature, but it is not a metal. It is a non-metal. Non-metals are non-sonorous. They do not produce a clink when struck against a odd object. So this is also one of the property of a metal. We already know when it is surface of a other, it can make a clink sound. But other non-metals, they won't make that sound. So this is also the different property for a non-metal. The fourth one point is a non-metals have low densities. So here we have a sum of the non-metals: phosphorus, sulfur, graphite and diamond. These non-metals, when compared to the other metal, the densities are very low. Here we have one exception. The liquid non-metal, we have only one liquid non-metal, bromine. It has a high density. So the non-metal's property has a low density, but these bromine has a high density. The fifth one point is non-metals have low melting points and boiling points. Solid non-metal boils at low temperature. So here the metals are very high boiling and melting points, but these non-metals have a low melting and boiling points. Non-metals existing gaseous state in the normal conditions have melting and boiling points below room temperature. Yes, the non-metals, they have a gaseous state. So some of them are gaseous, some of them are solid, and then some of them are liquid in the room temperature. So then the boiling points also very less in the room temperature. Here also we have a some of the exception. Carbon melts at very high temperature. So the property of non-metals is it has a low boiling point, but this carbon has a very high melting point. The sixth point is solid non-metals are brittle rather than malleable. We already know brittle. Brittle means we can expand it. Malleable means we can make a sheets, thin sheets and the wires. So these non-metals are brittle rather than malleable. We cannot make a sheet as well as a thread, but we can make it as a brittle. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat. Yes. So they won't conduct the heat properly. Then solid non-metals are non-ductile. Ductile means we cannot make it as a thin wires. And then non-metals are bad conductors of heat as well as electricity. Then we have some exception. Even though graphite is a non-metal, but it is a good conductor of electricity. So the property, heat and electricity they won't conduct, but graphite is nothing but we have a pencil. No, in the pencil we have a lead. That is the black color graphite lead. It can conduct electricity easily. Here we have a difference between metals and non-metals. So the first, based on the properties, we are going to discuss the differences. First property, luster, that is shiny. So we know already all metals have a luster, that is very shiny in appearance, but non-metals are dull solid, so they don't have a lustrous in nature. Hardness, all the metals are very hard. This is a property we can call it as a tensile strength, but this is absent in the sodium and potassium. They are soft solids. Then non-metals are not hard. We have a exception, some of them except diamond. Diamond is a non-metal, but it is a odd solid. The third property is malleability. Malleability means we can make metals into sheets. Here we have a metals have a high malleable except zinc and antimony, arsenic. These are the three metals we cannot malleable. Non-metals, non-malleable. We cannot spread as a sheet. Next, ductility. Ductility, it is one of the property. We can draw a metal into wires. Metals can easily ductile except zinc, arsenic and antimony. Here no, the ductile property is absent, but only carbon is possible. Conductivity, all the metals maximum they are a good conductors of heat and electricity, but except bismuth and tungsten. This is a metal but it won't conduct heat and electricity. Non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity except graphite and gas carbon. These two can conduct heat and electricity easily. State. All the metals are solid in nature except mercury and gallium. These are the two. One is present in a liquid state, another one is a gaseous state. But non-metals, all the three states of matter, solid, liquid and gaseous, it's possible. Density. Normally, metals are high density except sodium and potassium because these two are soft solids. Next, low density. All the non-metals are low density except diamond. Diamond is a non-metal but it is very hard and does a tensile strength. That's why it is a having a high density. Graphite is a non-metal, but it can conduct electricity and heat easily. Here we have an experiment. With the help of this experiment, we can easily know how this graphite is conducting electricity. The bulb glows on the attaching clips to the both ends of the graphite in the pencil. It means that graphite conduct electricity. So we need to sharp the pencil at the two sides. In the two sides, we can get a two graphite. This graphite was connected with the two clips and then it is connected with a battery. One end is connected with the battery and then another one is connected with the bulb. It can easily, the bulb is glowing because of what these graphite can conduct electricity. With the help of the graphite, the light is glowing. So like a copper wire, how it can conduct electricity in the house, we are using a cable wires. Inside we have a copper. That copper is conducting electricity. Likewise, here also the graphite inside the pencil conduct electricity and then the bulb is glowing. So this is the experiment to prove the non-metal graphite easily conducting electricity. Here we have a comparison of general properties of metals and non-metals. The properties luster. So metals have a high luster in nature, but non-metals they don't have a luster. But except iodine and graphite, they are lustrous in nature. Hardness. All the metals are very hard in nature, except sodium and potassium, soft metals. But here most of the non-metals are not hard, except diamond. Malleability, all the metals are highly malleable except zinc, antimony and arsenic. Non-metals cannot be malleable. Ductility, the same zinc, arsenic and antimony, these are the metals, they won't undergo ductility, but non-metals, these properties absent. Only carbon fiber can ductile easily. Conductivity, all the metals except bismuth and tungsten, they are very good in conduction of heat and electricity. Except graphite and gas carbon, all other non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity. State, most probably all the metals are solid in state except mercury and gallium. These non-metals can be present in three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. Next, density. Metals are high density in nature, but non-metals are low density. Tensile strength. Metals have high tensile strength and non-metals low tensile strength. Alloys and amalgams. Metals can form alloys and amalgams, but non-metals do not form alloys and amalgams except carbon and phosphorus. Alloys is nothing but it is a mixture of two or more metals. But non-metals, they are not a metal, so they won't undergo for a amalgamation. Here is your assignment. Assignment for this class. Name some non-metals. Write the difference between metals and non-metal. Dash is the oddest non-metal. Fourth one, a non-metal can conduct electricity is dash. Fifth one, the liquid non-metal which has high density is dash. Thank you, children. Have a great day.